Today we're going to be finding out which towers can and cannot beat Bloons Tower Defense 5 completely on their own. And in order to test this, I'm going to be using the map Express Shipping because it's the longest map in the game, and I'll be playing on regular Impoppable Mode, but for any tower that does beat this, I'll have a follow-up video to test it on Mastery Impoppable, which is even harder. Starting off with the Dart Monkey, you'll notice I'm getting one for free, and that's because I have its specialist building enabled, which of course I'll be doing for every tower. And since the Dart Monkey was free, I had enough money to immediately upgrade it to a 2-3. And let me tell you, this triple dart goes a lot further than you might expect, even being in a bad spot. Even lead balloons are no longer a match, as the Dart Monkey specialist building also gives it explosive darts. It took the rainbow balloons on round 35 for this lone triple dart to just barely fail. So as you might imagine, getting 8 more of them absolutely obliterated this round and continued doing so for quite some time. Even the Moab on round 46 got obliterated. You might be wondering why I'm not spending all my money on defense, but to be honest, I already knew the Dart Monkey was going to destroy this challenge, and I just want to see how powerful it actually is, so I'm trying to use as few of them as I can as well. And here comes the BFB now, which I thought was going to force me to buy more defense honestly, but there it goes, getting destroyed in just 2 loops. But I wasn't surprised when the infamous round 63 proved to be a little too much for them. So I got down a couple juggernauts on straight paths because they're known for destroying ceramics, and I also got a triple dart here in the quarter towards the end just to catch any stray leaks, and sure enough, this was enough to make it through the round. Now I really thought that having 3 Moabs and 2 BFBs at the end of round 65 was going to force me to finally buy more defense again, but somehow, someway, the Dart Monkeys continue to prevail. It's round 73 now, and I still haven't had to spend any more money on defense yet, so it looks like I'm playing Chimps mode on BTD5 and trying to save up for a tier 5 with all this extra cash. Round 76 finally exposed a weakness in the Dart Monkeys, as the super dense layer of regrow ceramics had too much pierce to be destroyed, even with a couple of juggernauts, and they just kept on regrowing every time they circled around the track. So I got 4 more juggernauts near the entrance, and go ahead, make fun of my bad placings in the comments, but this was enough to crush all the ceramics still. But I can tell from how tough round 77 is that pretty soon, the BFBs are going to be overwhelming this defense. On round 82, you have to face 10 of them, and that definitely proved to be too much. So I got a Super Monkey fan club, and with how long this map is, I was able to use it twice during the round. But I really wonder, could this somehow be enough defense to defeat the 5 ZOMGs on round 85? Well, here they are, but stupidly, I used an ability towards the end of round 84, so I don't have it immediately available. Surprisingly though, a couple of the ZOMGs popped pretty quickly here, but some of them are making it pretty far, and yeah, we're going to be leaking entire Moabs. So I got a second fan club which lets you have basically 0 downtime, and as you might have guessed, this was enough to defeat Impoppable Mode with the Dart Monkeys while also saving up $77,000. Going from glory to abject failure, we have the Tack Shooter, because no matter what you do with them, they will always lose to the camo balloon on round 24. But I think this sniper should definitely have some more potential. They have no problem with camo balloons, nor with the leads that come 4 rounds later. I really wanted to make sure I started sniper farming soon, so unlike with the Dart Monkeys, I actually had a reason to save up money this time, since the supply drop upgrade cost nearly $14,000. Pretty soon though, I was actually able to afford it, and if you don't know what sniper farming is, well here you go. You buy the supply drop upgrade, use it, and then sell your sniper, and repeat. My Monkey Lab gives me back 99% of the tower's sell price, so I only lose around $187 every time I sell it, while gaining $500 to $1,500 from each crate, depending on RNG. You definitely gotta be careful though, or at least I do, because the balloons quickly became too strong for my defense, and I actually lost on round 49. So I figured I should be a bit smarter and only try sniper farming for part of the round, then sell the tower completely and use all that money to buy a bunch more semi-automatic snipers, which, of course, completely destroyed it. Since my defense was now really powerful, I sold a couple snipers so that I could resume sniper farming, and despite this super close call, I was able to reach the point where it was paying off because now I had a few more supply drop snipers, which of course was going to increase my cash flow. After at least like 10 more minutes of sniper farming, I figured I had done enough because now I had so many supply drops that cash flow is no longer really a problem. And the thing is, these snipers are also pretty powerful. Look at the way that they're taking care of round 76. Eventually I was on the last 4 rounds of the game, which are definitely the hardest, but the snipers kept on breezing through everything, and as you can see, I had a ton of money coming in at this point, but not only that, a 2-3 sniper is just as strong as a 2-4, so if I needed to, I could really sell these supply crates and replace them with semi-autos, but that wasn't even necessary because despite the ZOMGs putting up a pretty good fight, they ultimately were taken down which means the sniper is the second tower to defeat BTD5 on Impoppable. But they can't all be winners because just like the Tack Shooter, the Boomerang fails on round 24 because the only upgrade that allows it to pop camo balloons is the Glaive Lord, and you can see you're not even within the same stratosphere as being able to afford that. At least the next tower is the Ninja Monkey, which absolutely carves through these early rounds like it's trying to set a speedrunning record. Instead of buying the Bloonchipper like I normally would though, I had to go for a flash bomb for the leads on round 28, and despite saving my money, I still couldn't afford it, so I also had to sell my double shot ninja, but thankfully, despite my huge blunder, the ninja is such a good tower, it carried on like absolutely nothing happened. Pretty soon after, I was able to buy a couple Bloonchipper, along with upgrading my flash bomb to Bloon Sabotage, which can slow all balloons on screen down by 50% for 15 seconds. Not that I needed it for the round 46 Moab, because these Bloonchippers have some crazy damage per second. I did use it to slow down the BFB on round 60, although I really don't think it was even necessary there. I am curious now if I can actually save up even more money with the Ninja Monkey than I did with the Dart Monkey before. On round 63, I got a second Bloon Sabotage Ninja to help deal with all the ceramic balloons, and I probably could have just gotten the Flash Bomb, but I really think I'm going to want at least 2 slowdown abilities for the late game instead of just 1, although funnily enough, I think round 76 is actually worse when you use the Sabotage compared to when you don't. Maybe it's just from RNG though. I thought adding a couple more Bloon Sabos would have enough Pierce to stun all the balloons on round 76, but clearly I was wrong. Well, there goes my dream of saving up even more money than I did with the Dart Monkeys. But I really can't complain though. Considering how quickly we destroy Moabs and BFBs now, it was a necessary evil. As I entered the very hardest rounds, this trend continued, with the ninjas not even needing me to use their sabotage ability to handle round 84, which I would argue is almost, if not as hard, as round 85. I did use it on the ZOMGs though, but when I turn off fast forward, you can really see just how slow they're crawling along. Not only are the ninjas going to win, but they make it look quite easy, with the balloons barely getting to make any real progress. There seems to be this weird trend where towers on the left are really great and towers on the right are really terrible, because just like the Tack Shooter and Boomerang Monkey, the bomb tower has no way to pop the round 24 camo. The Ice Monkey is definitely going to be interesting though. With the 5% discount you get from its specialist building, you can just barely afford the Snap Freeze upgrade with $0 to spare, and you need that upgrade in order to be able to pop balloons. Normally, the Ice Monkey would just fail on round 24, but its specialist building also allows the tower to pop camo balloons without needing a 4th tier upgrade, and it allows them to pop white and zebra balloons without an MIB village. So in theory, there should be nothing stopping it from at least having a chance. Well, unless that thing is faster than a green balloon. I tried playing again without fast forward mode on, and that's when I noticed how these 2 particular yellow balloons managed to perfectly avoid the ice tower's attack every time they loop around. So I sold the other Ice Monkey and moved it up, but that made absolutely zero difference somehow. But I do have one last idea. Playing on fast track mode allows you to start on round 26 with 5,000 cash, or 5,400 if you have your Monkey Lab maxed out. This is enough money to buy 3 2-2 Ice Monkeys, which are doing a much better job of catching the faster balloons, including pinks and grouped yellows. In order to deal with the ceramics on round 40, I sold my 2-2 ice towers and replaced them with an Arctic Wind Ice Shard combo, since that can destroy basically every normal balloon the game throws at you. But what it can't do is help you on round 46, because Ice Shards can't actually attack Moab class balloons normally. The only way for them to deal damage to them is if they're attacking regular balloons that are underneath the Moab, and then the Ice Shards just happen to hit the Moab as well. So, this means that the only thing dealing damage was the Arctic Wind, which was far from being enough. The first thing I did was spam down as many 2-0s as I could afford to do more damage to the Moab, but that wasn't enough. Then I sold an Ice Shard and bought even more, which still wasn't enough. I sold my second one, not enough. Finally, I sold my Arctic Wind, and wouldn't you guess it, there was enough damage to barely pop the Moab, while the ceramics all escaped. No matter what I tried, they just couldn't seem to get it. And considering that we would also need to eventually pop 5 ZOMGs with 2-0 Ice Monkeys, I think it's more than likely impossible for the Ice Monkey to ever beat Impoppable Mode. There isn't much to say about the Glue Gunner, but I'm going to anyways. It fails to regrow yellow balloons on round 17, because corrosive glue does damage too slowly and you can't afford the next upgrade. If you use Fast Track Mode, you have to start with a 2-2 Glue Gunner for round 27, then switch to a 3-1 for the regrow pinks on round 29, which didn't even work because the glue specialist building drops glue all over the track, and those glue actually count, I guess, as the same as corrosive glue, so they're too weak as well. But that really doesn't matter anyways, because a glue gunner can never affect Moab class balloons no matter what you do. And it also needs to be a 2-4 tower for it to affect camo balloons by using the glue storm ability. But since you only have corrosive glue with the 2-4, regrow camos are also impossible to pop, producing a huge regrow farm instead. Oh, and just in case anyone was curious, using fast track mode with the Boomerang Monkey doesn't work because you still can't afford a Glaive Lord for the round 33 yellow camo balloons. In order to test out the Monkey Buccaneer, I'm just going to use portable lakes on the same map I've been playing on instead of playing on a water map. Now these lakes do have the ability to attack balloons, but thankfully it's only if you use an activated ability, so I don't have to worry about that being an issue. You might also notice that the Monkey Buccaneer's special this building turns the dart it normally shoots into a fireball, which means they can pop lead balloons without having to waste money on cannon chips. And I'm just gonna say it, the destroyer is kinda overpowered now. Since the grape shot adds so much damage per second, you can also just kinda spam them down to shred through the Moab pretty quickly. I just had to know something though. Will the mini airplanes from the aircraft carrier upgrade also get fireballs? Well, that's more than a little disappointing, I can't lie. There must be something to that aircraft carrier though, cause on round 63, check out how much more quickly it gains pops compared to one of the destroyers. I knew round 76 was going to be tough, but I had plenty of money saved up. So I bought a second aircraft carrier, and after spending way too long getting 4 boats in one lake, I upgraded them into 4 more destroyers. At first this looked like it would be enough, but not everything was getting destroyed, which gave the regrows too much time to, well, regrow. So I sold my 2 aircraft carriers and built destroyers more spread out, but even with constant firepower, there still wasn't enough Pierce to destroy everything. So then I did the opposite, selling all my destroyers to get 3 aircraft carriers, which was kinda stupid because I still had to spend the rest of the money on destroyers anyways, and as you might have guessed, this still wasn't enough, which means that as far as I can tell, the Buccaneer actually can't beat Impoppable Mode. Maybe I had terrible placings, and if you can do it, definitely let me know, but that was my experience. The Monkey Ace is the first tower where you can't even afford to buy it on round 1, so you have to use fast track mode. You might notice that its special this building adds a little machine gun to the tower, which is extremely useful in the early game. However, unless you have one of the 4th tier upgrades, this tower has no way to pop leads, other than one thing. These random pineapples that it can drop on the track. Now I'm not sure what the chances are, but it is technically possible, so I sold my current Monkey Ace and bought 5 pineapple presents, which actually worked, but on round 30, 1 lead balloon managed to slip by. So I tried again, and again, and again, but it was all to no avail. So unless you can micro the ace extremely well and time it with the pineapple drop, I'm going to say this is pretty much impossible. Being the most expensive tower in the game, the Super Monkey also requires that you use fast track mode to start with it, and since you need another $5,000 to afford plasma vision on round 28, there's no way to pop the lead balloon, so this is where it fails. I'm a lot more hopeful for the Wizard Monkey though. Its special this building gives it an extra seeking attack, meaning a 0-1 gets 3 different projectiles for under $1,000. When it started to struggle, I got the lightning bolt upgrade, adding a 4th. Unlike our last couple towers, the Wizard Monkey has 0 issue with the leads that come on round 28. When I could afford it, I got the Dragon's Breath upgrade, mainly because I want the upgrade that comes after it, the Phoenix. For its price, this upgrade should provide an incredible amount of value once you start having to deal with Moabs and larger quantities of ceramics. Eventually, I got to the point where I had 3 of them, and I have to say, even without using the Phoenix ability, this tower is pretty strong. Watch how they tear through the BFB on round 60. These guys must have a ton of Pierce as well, because as I was writing the last couple sentences of the script, 4 of them managed to defeat round 63 and round 65 without any abilities. So I had to know, is there any chance they could somehow defeat round 76 as well? Yeah, I should have realized that was asking for a little too much. So I spent the rest of my money on more defense, and sold my original 4 Phoenixes because they had the lightning upgrade, and I was worried that might be contributing to a regrow farm. It looks like once I deployed all the Phoenix abilities, they were getting really close, but it just wasn't quite there. So I tried again and the same thing happened. Then I went against my better judgment and tried putting them all close together again, hoping this would have enough Pierce to finally take out the round. This was seriously so close, and I really thought I had it for a second, but of course not. I kept on trying to get the timing right, and then I switched all the wizards to strong, but nothing seemed to work. So I figured I would at least try selling all the Phoenixes one last time to get as many Dragon Breath wizards as I can, And well, this actually worked. I honestly cannot tell you the happiness I felt here, but I guess I was completely wrong when I said the Phoenix had great value, because all the values in the Dragon's Breath, at least on a map like this, where all the balloons circle around a single square. They continued holding their own when the game gets to its hardest point past round 80, and here's the ultimate test with the ZOMGs. Wow, look at how fast they're actually getting popped. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they're going all the way, and yeah, there it is, a successful run by the Wizard Monkey. This should go without saying, but the village and farm would fail immediately. The farm can never attack balloons, and the only way for the village to is with the energy beacon, which costs over 25,000 in total, and that's far from being possible even with fast track mode. Now with the mortar, I'm not really sure what'll happen, but when you have their specialist building enabled, you can actually watch them do their own micro, which is pretty funny, but also, it's the only reason why this might even have a chance of being possible. I got the Bernie stuff upgrade early on, because without it, this tower wouldn't be able to pop black balloons or zebras. And yes, it also has a way to pop the round 24 camo balloon. Once I could afford it, I got the artillery battery, because I have a feeling I'm going to have to use its ability a lot to stun the balloons later on. Even the mortar tower's other 4th tier upgrade, the big one, only does 3 damage per shot, which I can't really see being enough for BFBs, let alone ZOMGs. On round 50, I got a couple 3-1 mortars, and you can see just how much they're already struggling just to defeat a couple simple Moabs. Eventually, I did get the big one when it seemed like the mortars were struggling to regrows, and it absolutely destroyed them. I have to say, it might be better against Moab class balloons than I thought as well. Maybe its overall damage per second makes it worth getting. The BFB definitely wasn't as bad as I had originally expected either, so maybe this will be possible. It's really funny to watch round 63 get just absolutely destroyed. I've not seen that a single time during this challenge, but with 2 big ones, it's going to be the case. Round 65 was a lot more difficult, but they're still pulling through so far at least. I can't believe I'm saying this, but they're actually still alive on round 83, and with 7 big ones now, round 84 is also getting taken care of pretty well. But just like I had suspected before, the ZOMGs are still causing trouble, and the stun barely works on them as well. But there is still one thing I can try. If I keep selling the tower and rebuying it over and over, I can keep on using the stun ability every time I rebuy it, just like I did with the sniper farm, and that'll at least allow me to get a decent amount more stalling on the ZOMGs. I'm not sure how effective it'll be with my turtle micro, but you gotta try, right? I'm slowly losing money every time I do this, but that shouldn't be an issue. And here you can really see just how much more effective the stall actually is against the Moabs and BFBs than the ZOMG, because for once in its life, the ZOMG is actually passing them both. Now all the ZOMGs are popped, so I think it's actually a wrap. Just like that, the Mortar Monkey has beat Impoppable Mode all by itself. The Dartling Gunner is another tower that's too expensive to afford without using fast track mode, but let me tell you now, that's where its shortcomings end. This tower really has no weakness. It's good against camos, leads, Moabs, and even the round 63 ceramics aren't posing a threat. The same amount of defense continue destroying difficult rounds, like 76, if you blink you might miss it. And I'm not kidding when I say I didn't even bother moving my mouse during any of the late game rounds until the ZOMGs came out on round 85. It looked a bit tough, but realistically, these balloons still had an entire loop left to complete before they would even escape, so the Dartling Gunner has officially joined the club with style. And I even could have saved up more money than I did with the Dart Monkey if I wanted to. I really think that the Spike Factory can keep our successful streak alive, but the thing about this tower is that it has to be placed towards the back of the track, so it has enough time to drop spike piles, which means these early rounds are taking way longer than usual. However, the really cool thing about the Spike Factory is that their specialist building allows the spike piles to pop 50% more balloons than normal, and this actually stacks with the 40% extra pierce I'm getting from my monkey lab. So altogether, this means the 0-0 Spike Factory goes from popping 5 balloons per pile all the way up to, get this, 14 balloons per pile. And I'm not even exactly sure how that applies once you get the bigger stacks upgrade. I'm guessing it doesn't go all the way up to 28, but still, this is pretty incredible. This huge boost in popping power allows the Spike Factory to be way more effective against large quantities of balloons than you would normally expect. Check out just how much this 3-2 can handle. And that 0-0 down there just tanked a whole ceramic plus a little extra. The round 46 Moab was no problem either, and my idea was to get a couple more 3-2 Spike Factories down here on the bottom, since the balloons have to pass this long section of the track twice, as well as having a couple more at the end, just in case anything starts to get past. Then I'm actually going to sell my 3-2 that's towards the center and replace it with a 2-4, because the Spike Storm ability will be able to cover the entire map more efficiently from this position. The ability is so powerful now and comes back so quickly, I'm pretty sure the Spike Factory should get this win. Since the spiked balls, yeah, that's what they're called, from a 3-2 factory are supposed to be extra strong against ceramics, I was curious just how well this could do against round 76, but it just smashed through everything in its path. So I tried buying a third Spike Storm, realized I couldn't afford it, and had to settle for another 3-2. Can you tell I don't want to call the 3-2 a spiked ball factory yet, by the way? This actually got really close though, so I know what I have to do. Moving all the 3-2s together allowed the Spike Factory to finally stack up enough of its spiky balls to destroy the entire round. But I was also a little worried about round 79 because it has 500 rainbow regrow balloons, and you can see how they eventually just overwhelm all the 3-2 factories even as I use the abilities. But I didn't want to give up yet, so I started the round and waited for my 3-2s to cover the track. Then I sold a couple to get a third Spike Storm because I think that'll be more effective against anything that isn't a ceramic balloon. And you can see how ineffective the 3-2s become as they try keeping up with everything, but doing all this still didn't work regardless, so I guess I'll just sell all my 3-2s to get 6 Spike Storm abilities, making sure not to waste money on the lead popping upgrade. At first I was really hopeful, but this also proved not to be enough, so I really think it's just impossible for the Spike Factory to get past round 79. I really had no idea what was going to happen with the heli pilot, cause I literally never use it. You have to play on fast track mode, but you are able to afford both the enhanced instruments and razor rotors upgrade before round 28, which allow it to pop camos and lead balloons respectively. I tried to get the most out of it by placing it in a spot where the rotors could shred a lot of balloons, and hopefully this can take us pretty far. With 2 of them, I was getting so close to being able to afford the Apache Dart ship, which I know is going to be extremely powerful, but I could tell I was about to leak, so I quickly bought a 3-1 helicopter near the end, and sold it just in time to get the Apache for the rainbow regrows. Having 2 Apaches was doing well, but I still did a bit of heli supply crate farming, and it's a good thing I did, because round 76 proved to be way too much. So, now I at least had the money to buy another Apache and a few more razor rotors, but this still wasn't working, so I set every helicopter I had to follow mouse, and with all the helicopters right on top of the balloons, they got destroyed within 3 seconds flat. The whole reason I put the Apaches in the center of the map before is because they have a really big range, and I didn't want to waste it by having them in the corner, but I guess no matter what you do, you can't escape the power of this one box in the upper left corner of express shipping. I really didn't know you could stack the helicopters on top of each other like this either, but it's definitely funny to look at and maybe going to be part of the thumbnail. Round 84 definitely got a little bit scary, but it wasn't anything they couldn't handle, and with the ZMGs out, I just want to focus on popping those first, but I also can't leak anything else either, so I'm going to have to kind of go back and forth, and look at that, the helicopter's officially done it, beating BTD5 on Impoppable Mode. The Engineer is arguably the best tower in all of BTD5 when you put it in the right situation, but we're going to find out how well that carries over when it has to fight all by itself. The early game is going to be an absolute joke though, as the Engineer Specialist building turns its turrets into super sentries, which are capable of shredding through the early balloons. On round 24 I bought Cleansing Foam, which removes camo from balloons, and soon after I got the Balloon Trap upgrade, which is the key to winning this whole thing. Every time it traps balloons, it also earns extra money, and once I moved it to a better spot where the trap could catch a lot more balloons before the turrets destroyed them, my money started going up very quickly. I got a bunch of 1-0 engineers further down the track in preparation for round 46, but the first couple of engineers already destroyed the Moab before it even got that far, which is a really good sign. Now that the balloons are becoming stronger, most of them are making it past the sentries, which means more for the traps, and now that they're more effective than ever, you can really see how quickly the money is starting to add up. The BFB got destroyed quicker than I expected, so I really do think that spamming down 1-0 engineers is definitely going to be the play. Round 63 has so many balloons that all the traps instantly get filled while more ceramics continue onwards, so I got a couple extra balloon traps, and that got me through the round. It's kind of ironic though how the balloons are literally giving me extra money every time they try to defeat me now. I almost feel a little bad for them honestly, but but not that bad, cause I still abused the crap out of it to get all the extra cash that I could. This allowed me to get a ton of 1-0 engineers, and I figured I might as well upgrade them to 1-3 so they'd be stronger. Making them 2-3 actually isn't worth it when you're using the specialist building, because that will no longer increase century production rate, although I did accidentally do it for a few anyways. All this cleansing foam is really doing a good job of making sure none of these regrow camo balloons escape, and since I had well over $200,000 saved up now, I knew this wasn't going to be a problem. The defense I already have is handling round 84, and I bought some more 1-3 engineers for the ZMGs, but those two were eventually taken care of, allowing the engineer to join the club of towers that can beat Impoppable Mode all by itself. Now unfortunately for the Bloonchipper, even if you have a 2-4 and a 4-2, they can never pop camo balloons. The super vac ability can suck them in, but it just holds them there for a bit and then releases them without doing any damage, so yeah, this tower is a complete bust. Which leaves us with just one last tower, the Monkey Sub. And I know it's only been about 25 minutes for you, but it's taken me over 20 hours to put this all together so far. Of course I'm using portable lakes for them like I did with the Buccaneer, and I really have a good feeling about this tower going all the way. Its specialist building allows airburst darts to split into 4 instead of 3, and makes them move 25% faster, which is very powerful in the early game. I bought the Submerge and Support sub in order to remove the camo from the round 24 green balloon, then I got the ballistic missile upgrade for the round 28 leads. Since the Balloon-tonium reactor is so cheap, and it's kind of in the perfect spot, I got that once I could afford it as well. I think the key to beating the later rounds is going to be spamming down 2-3 monkey subs, and you can see they definitely did quite well against the first Moab. The first BFB was also no problem, nor were the round 63 ceramics. If they're this strong against everything, I really can't see anything else being a problem. I was curious if round 76 would pose a threat, but it stood no chance against the barrage of missiles and darts. And I should definitely mention that the sub is also able to remove both camo and regrow properties from balloons when you have the specialist building enabled, so that helped a ton as well. Out of everything the sub has, I would have to say it's really the advanced intel upgrade that's carrying it here, because that's what allows every sub to fire at the balloon simultaneously. I thought I had a good idea when I decided to finish off round 85 when I sold all my subs to get first strike abilities, figuring I could just use those to destroy each ZOMG, until I realized it actually doesn't destroy the balloons inside them as well. So, with an embarrassing ending, I sold all those subs and went back to my original defense, which allowed the Monkey sub to become the last tower that has defeated Impoppable Mode all by itself.